What is going on, people, and welcome back to AJ Cars. And it is still cold, winter, windy, disgusting England, but today we're talking about this, the M140. And you've clicked on this video probably thinking, what is it actually like to own one of these cars, and how have I made it look like this in only 3 months? Now let me give you a bit of a backstory before we go into anything. Now I bought this car 3 months ago after selling my E92 M3. Now I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, why on earth would you sell an E92 M3 and buy this M140? Now I will say this, I like this car more. Now I love the E92 M3, that's why I bought one. I think they are fantastic cars. However, the M140 is just that little bit better, in my opinion. That is why I bought this car. Now the E92 M3 was my daily, which was stupid enough as it was, and it costed me way too much, so I got this instead, and I'm glad I did, because these cars are absolutely fantastic. Now of course, in my ownership, I am not going to keep this car standard, so I've done quite a lot of stuff to this car already. We have modified it from top to bottom, and we're not finished of course, but it has only been 3 months and I'm not rich enough to do it all in one video, so you get it over a few. Now you guys seem to really enjoy the M140, and I'm glad I bought it because I enjoy it just as much as you guys. But I will show you exactly what I've done to this car and how I modified it. Now if you're planning on modifying your M140, or you've bought one and you are looking for stuff to buy, then go on my last video, because in that video I discussed all of the parts that I have done to this car, where I bought them from, and how you can do it as cheap as possible. So check that video out, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. On to the video in hand. This car was bone stock when I bought it, besides having a stage 1 remap, which I didn't actually know about. It is stage 1 from Mallory Performance. It is running 420 brake horsepower, which is quite a lot of brake horsepower for a little car like this. I know it might sound a lot because the M140s do run really big power. However, driving this as a daily, having 420 brake horsepower at your disposal at all times, is quite fun, and they are really fast. Even if it is a slow M140, these are pretty quick cars. Now I don't particularly enjoy driving around in a stock car, which is why I enjoy this car so much, because I've modified it. Now the E92 M3, I didn't actually get the opportunity to modify it because it was just so expensive to run on a day-to-day basis. I never got the chance to do any of this to the M3, which is why I enjoy driving this a lot more than the M3, even though the M3 sounded incredible. It was fast. This is probably faster, if I'm being honest. The M3 just wasn't all that for me, and this really is, because it's modified, because I've actually put my own touch on this car. I enjoy driving it so much more. Now even though this car has been an absolute pleasure to drive over the last 3 months, and I've enjoyed driving it every single day and owning it every single day, however, it hasn't actually been sunshine and rainbows the entire time, because as you know, I did crash this car and it was a nightmare because I had to rebuild the entire front end. The front bumper was scratched, these were damaged, this grille behind was damaged, splitter ripped off, so we had to do this front end again. And it wasn't that bad, but it was a bit of a hassle because these parts I had to buy prolonged the modifications parts that I wanted to do, and now going into the new year we're going to be doing them again. Now the modifications that have been done to this car are pretty simple, the usual ones that you would expect an M140 to have. Going around the front end, we have the eyelids on the headlights. We do also have yellow DRLs behind there as well, which do look really good. We have the front grills. The Shadow Edition does come with black grills, however these ones are like a slatted sort of thing, and we do have the white bars behind there as well. We of course had to replace these bottom grills because they were broken, and the bits behind, but we do also have a gloss black splitter, nice and cheap off eBay, and we do have the black wrapped canards, which I think look 10 times better and make that front end look way more aggressive, having everything in gloss black. Now going down the sides, we have the M Performance mirror covers. These are cheap and cheerful. A lot of people give me hate for having these because it is not a real M car, but I think they do look that little bit better. We do have the gloss black side skirts as well to match the front splitter. And also looking down the side, we have spacers for the wheels. We have 15mm on the front and we have 20mm on the back, which literally is perfect fitment front and rear. We also have gloss black painted wheels. Now these were like a ferret grey, I think I want to say. Ferret grey. It was like a light shade of grey. I think they come standard on the wheels. I wasn't a massive fan, so I wanted to go gloss black, which I think, I mean, if they were clean you'd be able to see them, but they do look a little bit better. We also have floating centre caps. Not a lot of people know about these, but they are a pretty cool addition to the car. We have changed these as well. These were chrome, I want to say. Yeah, chrome. And now they're like the new M135 colour. It's like a goldy satin sort of colour, which is pretty cool. Now going on to the rear, which has quite a few modifications on. We have the exhaust tips on the bottom. We have the rear diffuser, which looks 10 times better. That standard diffuser looks so bad. We have the rear spats, which are absolutely covered in salt because of the state of this car is filthy. I do apologise. And we have the spoiler on the top, which looks way better. Gloss black, in my opinion, on the white is the best colour you can get. And that just makes it look 10 times better on the rear. Just makes it look that little bit more aggressive. Now, not forgetting the interior, we have these horrifically cheap carbon bits which I really need to pull off, and we have the notorious airbag cover, which people seem to think is a massive projectile, but it looks pretty cool. Now, them bits are off the Temu video. If you didn't watch the Temu video, go and check it out because that video is hilarious. The eyelids on the headlights are from that video as well. And if you want to see that video again, drop it in the comments because I enjoy making them. And I think you guys do as well because that video did really well on the channel. So drop it in the comments. If you want to see another version of that, a part 2 for this car, and I'll go all out, drop it in the comments. And we'll try and get that video made. Now, the maintenance cost for this car over the last 3 months hasn't been that bad, really. I've had to buy tyres, which weren't that bad, it's just usual tyres. And I had to do a gearbox service on it because the previous owner just did not decide to do it. It's on 75,000 miles now and it never got done. You should do it when it gets to around 60,000. But that costed me around about £250 to £300 for the entire kit. That is the oil and the filter, because it comes as one big kit. I haven't done an engine service on it yet. I'm waiting to buy some parts for that. That should be doing soon because the oil in this is 0W20. If you don't know, that is a really thin, almost like water oil, and this really needs some thicker oil because it's not right for the car. So we're going to get that done at some point as well. But overall, this car has not caused me any problems besides having to do the gearbox service. This has literally been smooth sailing from the day I bought it, of course, ignoring the fact that it got crashed. But service-wise, it has been pretty damn good. It literally hasn't skipped a beat. We are in the new year now, so I'm hoping this car doesn't bring me any issues, and hopefully it is smooth sailing from here on out as well. But we do need to clean this car. That is one thing that we desperately need to do. That is going to be the next video, I think. Me and Zach are going to give this car one big clean because it needs some serious treatment, this does. Now, I want you guys to put in the comments what I should do to this car next. Should I go cosmetic or should I go performance? Because I'm really tempted to take this car stage 2, put an air filter on it, do the exhaust, get it mapped again, because I really want this car to be fast. So, do I go performance or do I go again with the cosmetic mods? Now, if you've been a long time watcher of the channel, you'll know I've never had a performance car before, because we started with the Cupra, which was, you could say it was more of a street build. It was a stage 1 car, it was pretty quick, but we didn't really do anything to it. Then we had the Golf, and it is completely different to this because the Golf was a show car. We bagged it, we painted it a different colour, we put big BBS wheels on it. It looked really good, but it was nothing to do with performance. Even though it had a cone on it, it didn't feel very fast because it wasn't very fast. It was about 230 brake horsepower and on air suspension, so it wasn't as quick, even close to something like this. Then we bought the E46, which was a drift car, and it was more of a restoration product. It wasn't actually a drift car very long, although it still had the welded diff. It was more of a show car, street, nice restoration build. And then of course we had the M3. Now that was essentially a track car. I bought it like it. I didn't actually modify anything on it unlike this car. And the M3 was a bit more of a fast daily, which is kind of what this is becoming. But I feel like we've done most of the categories now, so I want to go for a street build and I really want to make this car fast. But after listing off all them cars, I want to know what car brought you to this channel. Was it this car? Was it the M3, the E46, the Golf, or the Cupra? I want to know in the comments. And if you are here for this car, what am I doing next for it? What modifications should I put on this car? So overall, in the 3 months that I've owned this car, I've been more than impressed by it. It has done everything I wanted it to do. It has been cheap, it has been fast, it looks good, and it put a smile on my face, which the past cars haven't really done because they've just been problem after problem after problem. And after a while, you just get sick of it. And cars like this is what bring the joy back into cars, because I've done whatever I wanted to this car and it hasn't skipped a beat. It hasn't caused many problems and it has just been smooth sailing, and it's been an absolute pleasure to own it. Now, after seeing this video, what is your opinion on this M140? Now, I know it may not look a lot right now compared to the other cars, but this car will be something really, really nice at the end product. And I know a lot of people think that doesn't look very good, or when I first buy my cars, they just don't look the best, or they're just absolute scrap. But in the end, they do look really good, and I'm hoping that is what happens with this car as well. It is a long process, and I'm sure it will look good in the end. Do you agree? Is the M140 one of the greatest hatchbacks you can buy? And should you buy one? And if you're asking me, I would definitely say yes, because I am a huge fan of these cars now. After owning one for a few months now, I'm definitely going to be keeping this car for a while, because it is everything that I wanted in a daily. It is the perfect car in my eyes. Now, the cost of this car. Now, the E92 M3, I did a full rundown of how much that car actually costed me on a day-to-day basis, a monthly basis, and across the years. That is tax, insurance, fuel, maintenance cost. Now, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what this car actually costed me compared. Now, the M3 a year, I'll put it on the screen now of what it was. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Now, this car is completely different because tax is cheaper, insurance is cheaper, and the fuel is cheaper, and the maintenance cost is cheaper. So everything about this car, even though it looks better and is actually faster, it is cheaper than the M3. You just don't have M status, but I actually don't care. So first things first, the insurance. The M3 costed that much. Now this M140 a year cost me £1,400. Now, I know it differs in where you are and what sort of car it is. If I was to fully modify this car and do everything to it, declare it on my insurance. Now, all of these are declared, but when you start doing performance mods, your insurance goes sky high. So it kind of depends on the car you've got. But a standard M140 against a standard E92 M3, the insurance is completely different to each other. And now, I know I'm still young, so cars like this are going to be expensive to insure. However, some cars just are not feasible, even if you can afford the car itself. Now, that is one thing that I hated about the M3, was the cost, and the insurance on this is so much better. That is one reason why I love this car more. And on to the next one, is tax. Now, the tax for an M3, and I remember this figure because it blew my mind. Each year, an E92 M3 will cost you £735 to this day. I don't know if it's going to go up. I'm pretty sure it went up from £690 to £735 this year. If you was to pay that off monthly, of course, you have to pay interest, and you have to pay £770 a year just to tax it. Now, this is completely different because this will only cost you £190 to tax it for the year. Now, that is a big difference, considering these cars are supposed to do the exact same thing in my eyes. I've only bought the car to drive it to and from work and enjoy it on the weekends and go out in it whenever I like. They're not track purpose, so the price difference is like huge in my opinion. That's why I got rid of the M3, because it was just so expensive to run. And it's not just the tax, it's not just the insurance, it is the fuel as well. Now, it's obvious the fuel is going to be expensive on an M3. However, this M3 is ridiculous. It's a V8, it's naturally aspirated, but to fuel this car each week, and I drive to and from work, it's about half an hour there, half an hour back every single day. Now this car will cost me around about £60 every 2 weeks to fill this car up. Now that is really good going. I can just stick this in Eco Pro whenever I like. You can't do that on an M3 because it is just M mode or nothing. There is no efficient mode on an M3. Now I know you're probably thinking, but it's stupid, why did you buy an M3 for a daily? I was stupid, yes, and I bought it just because I wanted it and it was funny and it was fun to drive, blah, 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 whatever. I know, I can already hear you behind the camera now telling me I'm stupid enough to buy one, but this car cost me around £60 every 2 weeks, every week and a half, 2 weeks to fill. Now I know it's pretty difficult to compare these two cars because they're just two completely different style of vehicle, but I'm going to compare them because I still think this M140 is better and I don't care what people say. So in a nutshell, the M140 over the last 3 months has been absolutely perfect. I cannot fault it in the slightest. It's been a pleasure to drive, it has been a joy to drive, and I am so glad that I did buy it in the end. And I'm glad you guys enjoy it as well, because you seem to like the videos and a lot of you seem to watch the videos consistently, which I'm extremely grateful for. Now the new year is here. Now we are currently sat at 17,500 subscribers. Now I want to get to 20,000 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do down below, because that is going to be greatly appreciated and it will help the channel so much, and it will tell me that you are enjoying the content, because I don't want to just have this car, I want to have more cars. So stay tuned for them videos because they are definitely coming this year. Now if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like the video down below and drop a comment what sort of video you want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.